Hello everyone and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Now, before we start here, just a small quick clarification. Now, my 1k subs bonus video was in German, as I announced. And that does not mean I'm changing the language of this channel. It's, well, exactly that. It's just a bonus video. It was in addition to my regular uploads, so don't worry. If you didn't like it, you didn't miss out on any regular content because of it. Now let's continue with this battle here. Today we are watching Calab in the Großer Kurfürst. He is on the map hotspot in a 3-point domination game mode, and well, it's obviously a tier 10 battle, but there are only 2 tier 10s around. Now there are lots of destroyers per team, so we will probably see quite a few torpedoes. And yeah, I think I've recently also commented on a video from Calab. It seems he was very fast in going through the German tech tree. He's also a member of the clan Calab Commando. Now here in the beginning of this battle, the friendly team decided to take the points B and C. And it would seem that all of friendly team comply with that. A destroyer is already heading towards B and will hopefully arrive there soon to start the cap. And the ships here are moving towards there. Now, of course, they have to be careful not to show too much broadside to those enemies. And I think it looks decent at sea. A lot of friendly destroyers are going in there. One destroyer is, I don't know what he's doing out here. Maybe he's trying to stop enemies going through, I don't know, his channel. Or just scouting ahead. Now, nobody in the friendly team is trying to stop the enemy team from capturing A, which is fine. They never intended to take this point, and there are probably destroyers in here, so there might also be torpedoes coming this way. But with those islands, they should be reasonably safe. The thing is, there will also probably be a lot of torpedoes around B. Now, the enemy team is also moving somewhat in this direction. It seems like the enemies did not push at the left side. Would have been nice if the enemies drove here, because then they would be completely useless, but unfortunately the enemy team is also playing rather aggressive. Now they have a destroyer inside B, that's all they need. This spawn guy is enough to capture. The other ships can stay here a bit at the outskirts and support this destroyer and hopefully kill enemy destroyers that are getting spotted. They are going in there. And there we have a Fubuki. He was only gone for a little bit. And I think those two, it's the Rune and the Scharnhorst, might be a bit too aggressive. There are just so many destroyers and so many torpedoes. As I said, it's kind of enough if the Fubuki is in there. If he isn't spotted, he can just sit there and cap. And if, I mean, the enemies aren't trying to contest this cap currently. So you can stay here in the outskirts and just support the destroyer in the front. Now the friendly team also managed to get C, although I think it cost them 2 destroyers to do so. Now they have B, so the friendly team now has the advantage when it comes to capture points. They are down 1 ship, but that shouldn't matter all that much. Now all they have to do is defend those 2 points. And that's bad, they lost another destroyer. And the friendly destroyers are not really in a position to defend B at the moment. Now with 3 enemy destroyers remaining, and some of them are certainly in this area, they might just drive and to B and capture it. And there isn't an awful lot the friendly team can do about it. what you want in this situation is you want a friendly destroyer here inside B spotting the enemy. As soon as the enemy is spotted, all of those friendly ships who are in a decent position to support B could open fire at the enemy destroyer and force him to run away. So yeah, the trick in defending this thing is you have a destroyer spotting and you have the other ships close enough that they can provide fire support. But currently the enemies have not started capturing this point yet, so all is still well. Those destroyers, I think they might be going after those battleships, which... yeah, I mean, it helps if they are getting sunk, but I really think one destroyer keeping an eye on B would be better. And those enemy battleships, they are trying to get out of there, but they are sort of showing broadside while they are trying to run away, so... And Calab here is also trying not to show his broadside and always be a little bit angled towards those enemies. Of course, the way he's currently going, he might have to change that. Also, we now know B is getting captured, so there will be torpedoes out of B, probably. And there are torpedoes. The torpedoes didn't really have the range, but he's just opening up his broadside towards those enemy battleships, and yep, that does hurt. And well, they have lost B. Now, Calab could have just sailed straight into B, but it would have probably been a useless death. It does not look like those ships are willing to back that up, and they really need a destroyer spotting the destroyer. The thing is, if you wanna, like, as a battleship be in the front and tank, means you probably have your ship angled, you aren't moving all that much, and that makes you a prime target for destroyers. And there aren't really any islands you could use to avoid torpedoes. And if you are going in there and you constantly have to maneuver to avoid torpedoes, you probably open up your broadside. Now the teams are currently pretty even, but the enemies control the capture zone, so the enemies will quite simply win over time, and friendly team wants to stop that, they have to make something happen here. Unfortunately, the enemies, they do have destroyers here in the front, it seems, so it won't be that easy to take B. But there is a friendly destroyer coming this way. He might just go for it. And there are still some ships in position to support him. Now, Calab is going around here and probably trying to get back towards B. And well, thankfully there are enemy battleships who are just sitting there showing a broadside. So he might be able to quite a bit of damage to those. Yeah, that was a very nice salvo. And well, yeah, there we see the enemy destroyer. They kind of have to deal with this guy before they can capture B. Obviously, if an enemy is sitting in the cap circle, you can't cap it. And this guy will keep spotting the friendly destroyer and force him back probably. This destroyer does have some backup, so as soon as friendly destroyer gets spotted, he will probably be under fire from multiple sources. And yeah, I think the friendly team just hurt this little guy here. Now, saw him recently, there might be torpedoes coming this way. But it's also possible that the destroyer is just focusing on those ships in the south. But there's still a friendly destroyer up here far in the north. I think he was hunting for battleships or something there. I mean, there isn't a carrier that you can find. This destroyer would be much more helpful if he was in a more aggressive position down here, I'd say. Oh, and this was a very nice hit on the Montana. The Montana is done. That's great. That allows Calab to turn his ship here and not open up his broadside. Well, okay, there is still a Bismarck left. Now he is trying to get this piece of land between him and the destroyer because there will be torpedoes coming this way. And thankfully this destroyer is down. Now I guess he would have preferred to maybe push towards B and try to make something happen, but the destroyer kind of forced him to turn away here. And now he will most likely go around this island and then drive back into B. This Artaco is opening up his broadside. I'm not sure why. He's probably trying to torpedo someone. And that happens if you show your broadside in a cruiser. Now the friendly team leads by one ship, but they still only have one capture zone and the enemies have more points because of it. But the friendly team has only one destroyer left and he unfortunately still doesn't make a move to go capture. But, I mean, the battleships should be able to do this, I hope. There are still 2 enemy destroyers left, who might just wait for a battleship brave enough to take B. But time is not on the side of the friendly team. I mean, there are still 7 minutes left, so plenty of time to get some capture points. But they have to start at some point. Now, there is an enemy destroyer. The secondary is opening up. The primary guns are not anywhere near that, so he is shooting the Bismarck first, which is a wise choice. It will take those guns a long time to turn the other way anyway. And there goes the Bismarck. Now this destroyer is on very low health. If he can hit him once, that would make their life a lot easier. And also they seem to have lost the friendly destroyer. So it's only the battleships remaining against, well, 1 destroyer now. And the Kraken is unleashed. Now it looks pretty good for the friendly team currently. They have 3 ships left and they are almost equal on points, so all they need to do now is drive into B and capture it and should look good. Of course, the destroyer that's left might have something to say about that. Now he is currently spotted by a plane. We can't really see that plane, but I guess I don't know what plane this could be. Probably the plane of a dead ship that's still circling somewhere. And, well, I guess the plane symbol vanished, so now he's... Well, I don't know. He is definitely spotted by something. But again, as long as there is a plane symbol, I would assume it's not the enemy destroyer that's seeing him, so we can't be exactly sure where the enemy is, and he is not spotted anymore. Now the friendly team, in theory, they could split up and like leave somebody back here to defend and take B with 2 people or something. And here he is detected again. If I were the enemy destroyer, I might just try to capture C as soon as I start seeing someone capturing B. And there are some torpedoes incoming, but yeah, the hydroacoustic search, I think, was still running, so he saw these torpedoes in time and it should be easy to avoid them. They are not in a very narrow spread, so they were easy to avoid. So the destroyer left is a Fubuki. The Fubuki could have like 15-kilometer torpedoes, so he can easily launch them without ever being detected. But then again, at long ranges, well, it's hard to actually hit a battleship because they are probably not sailing in a straight line when they know only a destroyer is left. Now it seems like a friendly is staying back to defend C. Now if I were the enemy destroyer, I probably would still try to capture C. I mean, for one, he doesn't know that somebody is defending this point. And I mean, even if as a destroyer in a close quarter combat you have quite a decent chance of taking out a battleship. Although I'm not sure how much health the enemy has remaining. Now, the way those torpedoes are coming, it would seem that the enemy is somewhere towards A and he might be trying to defend the point. I'm not sure how that will work out for him. I guess he can try to torpedo them when they come through this gap between those islands. But, well, I mean, Calab has still some health left. The Amagi is somewhat damaged, so I guess he could sink the Amagi and therefore swing the points back in his favor. Well, I mean, the enemies still have more points, but now the friendlies will get points faster, so the enemy destroyer has to do something. Right now he is losing. And the enemy destroyer still seems to be somewhat here at A. Again, I probably have tried to maybe take C in his wings, but it's a difficult decision. If he can get a few torpedo hits on those ships, if he can sink the Amagi, he could make something work. He could also just go around here and then capture B while they are at A and maybe launch some torpedoes from B. Might surprise the battleships if torpedoes come in from behind. They are asking the friendly Amagi to stay behind at B so that the enemy has a harder time in capturing the point. There is certainly some merit in that, and it would seem like the enemy destroyer decided to fire his guns, so he was probably behind this island and used the fact that he can hide behind here without getting detected. But by firing those guns he gave away his position and therefore from which direction their torpedoes will be coming. So I guess he saw it as a free chance to fire his guns and maybe reset a few capture points, but well, he just gave away from where the torpedoes are coming by firing his guns, so I'm not sure if it was the right decision. And I guess the destroyer is now on his way towards B, but I don't think he will be there in time. He just was not able to make something happen. The friendly team is in lead by points. Very soon they will reach 1,000. The time is also almost over. And since the destroyer is probably gone this way, he is not really in a position to relaunch his torpedoes. So I'd say this is a win. And yeah, 15 seconds left. There is nothing the enemy destroyer can do anymore, so it was a pretty close game. But, well, the friendly team managed to win in the end. Now let's take a look at the results. Calab managed to get 2,722 base experience and 5 kills, so certainly very well played by him. And well, the friendly team, they came up with a plan and they had a very good start. They managed to get the 2 capture points. Unfortunately for them, they failed a bit in defending the point B. And they had a hard time retaking it, but ultimately the team managed to secure a win. Now, Calab got himself Confederate Kraken, Devastating Strike and High Caliber. He managed to do 233,000 points of damage. So I hope you enjoyed watching this battle. I thought it was an exciting one. And I'll see you guys next time.